Um, add a guess. Add a guess. Let me see if I can. Uh, ah, ah. Oh, yay.
Hello.
Hi, Dan.
Hello, Queen. How you going?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you? How are you?
I'm good. I'm going well. I'll set you up. I tried to connect through my laptop, but that wasn't working.
You're a bit
So,
fuzzy. What
oh,
did
how's
you,
it going?
it's really good. It's going really good. So did you manage to get your sunset? Did you manage to see your sunset today?
I did. I did. It was raining while I was on my way home from work, and I pulled by like I was at the lights, ready to turn into like my sunset spot, and it was still raining, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go anyway. And so I did. And as soon as I got to my spot, it stopped raining.
Yeah, I thought you'd be doing your sunset watching today. So I thought so I was supposed to have someone else on today to talk about what they've been talking about. And then I thought, oh my God. And then she cancelled. And then I thought, oh my God, I don't have anybody else. So then I thought I'll talk to I'll talk to Dan. I'll ask Dan to see what she wanted to talk about. But you were like, oh my God, what are we going to talk about? Then I thought, expectations. How about we talk about expectations? Since we're in lockdown and nobody seems to have any expectations at the moment, or do you have any expectation at the moment with whatever is happening now in your life? Do you have any expectation from life at the moment?
Yeah, I guess for me, um, for me, I'm taking it very much like day by day, and like I'm not, I think I'm just, yeah, definitely taking it day by day. Like, what can I do for me now? Like, what do I need in this moment? So I'm not really, um, yeah, I'm not really thinking about, I don't know, what I can't do as much as I'm thinking about what I can do. Does that make sense?
Has anything changed for you though?
Yeah, so I wasn't working for the first 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So it was just I was at home. Um, and so
And what was
I,
that like? What was that like? What was it
you
like to
know
even
what?
go into lockdown? What was it like for you?
I think for me, yeah, I really thought about like I'd wake up and I was like, I'm just gonna do my best to like love myself today. And so I'd wake up, I'd take my shower just like I normally would at the same time I normally would. And I'd get ready, I'd have my breakfast, like I'd cook special breakfast. And then I would drive out to my little spot and do my workout. And that was like somehow, I don't know, like it just got me through. It just helped me to feel um yeah, just really like it was almost like I'm on like I don't even know how to describe it. It was like, hey, this is just time for you to hang out with yourself. Like it's time for you to get to know you right now.
If you like yourself, that is right.
Well, yeah.
So, so
Yeah, see,
you must like yourself. I mean, I really like myself, but there is a time where I do like the company of others. But I really do like myself, and I think I really cherish time with myself because it's so important for me to to be in my to understand my individual thought and not to be influenced a lot by anybody else's thought, or whether it's good thoughts or hopeful thoughts or negative thoughts. I just really need to be with me to know that whatever I'm feeling or thinking is authentic to me at the moment. Yeah. So for that
Yes.
reason, for that reason, I love lockdown. At first, obviously, finance I'm self-employed, so at first it's like, oh God, all the appointments were being cancelled like one by one, and then I was forced to be at home by myself. I was forced to not do anything. What can I do? I can't make my clients come to get their hair done. So, but when I sat down and it felt like I just came home almost. I feel like I came back into myself. And I was like, oh shit, maybe I really needed this. I felt like I really needed the lockdown. Like I really needed to just spend time with me. Saying that though, I did up my therapy sessions from every fortnight to weekly, because I thought it was just like precaution, taking precaution really, just in case I needed it because I didn't know. I just needed a point of reference somewhere with a therapist who was completely objective. Yeah, so I did up that for the first 2 weeks, but now I had a therapy session on Tuesday, but now I'm like, yeah, maybe go back to the 2 weeks. I'm okay. But I just love that part of self-care, just ensuring that I was okay. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree, absolutely. I think I have had a similar experience where I was like, I had just like all these, I had my, I've got my journal all set out. I've got every day kind of like, this is what I'm going to do on every day for the next, month or so.
Yeah.
And I had all these plans. I had all these events and I had all these like really exciting things with friends. And I had a trip. I told you, I think I had a trip planned out to go to the Northern Territory with a friend of mine, and it was all getting cancelled. And and some weird part of me was like, you know what? Like as much as I love these plans, as much as I was so invested and so excited for like every one of them, I'm so like I'm equally excited to just be with myself. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I was never like the kind who thought I needed like that much time alone. But yeah, I find that it's just been so helpful and integral in coming back to me, like what is it I want? Who am I? Like and just tuning into my own like inner voice.
Yeah. Joya want to ask the question, but Joya, can we do the question afterwards? You can, but maybe afterwards. Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, Dani, maybe I think we're both so positive about spending time with ourselves.
Okay,
So
I will tell you,
yeah,
there are
yeah.
negatives.
What
There are
what are the
negatives,
negatives?
absolutely.
What are the
Um,
negatives?
okay, I think that in not seeing people in the regular places that I would see people, not having my regular, like, okay, this is where I go to see this human, and this is where I go to see that person that I love so much.
Yeah,
I
that's good.
feel like the intentionality in connection with friends, yeah, is really important right now. And I feel like that's been really, really hard. Like just being really intentional about like still connecting with people when
Yeah,
you're not seeing them.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
so you're not like out of sight, out of mind.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
I find that really tricky, really, really hard to navigate.
yeah.
Yeah.
To,
And so
to,
I'm low on my people. people connection bar. But I think, yeah,
But you know what?
yeah.
I feel like when you have those connections with people, like true connection with people, like your people, that it never
Mm,
really goes. I think we should really just allow ourselves the time to be away if we need to be away without needing to explain. Hi, Vinny. Yeah, without needing to explain to anybody that we need to be away. Like there should be just unspoken understanding that it's not
mm,
um mal it's not a malice, it's not bad intended if I'm away, if you don't hear from me for a couple of days,
absolutely.
because sometimes I just need to be in this corner for a bit. And then when you do come back, you just bounce back, you just reconnect. I don't understand why that's ever a problem. I mean, it's not. I have people who are completely understanding of that. Like they don't take it personal if you don't speak for days, and I don't take it personal if you don't speak for days. And if they can't speak or if they're not available, there's always
Mm,
somebody around that is available. I
mm,
love everybody equally, so I don't feel like
mm.
I'm being used or they're being used or I'm using them. Like I think to even use uh, friends, it's a disservice on myself because if I'm
Yes. Oh my
using
gosh.
you, yeah, it is because if
Could we
I'm
explore
using
that
you,
more? Could you talk about that more?
well, if I'm using you, it means that I don't necessarily value you all that
Mm,
much, right? And why would I spend my time with somebody that I don't value?
mm,
Yeah. So I don't. I feel when you use people, it's a disservice on you. Like why would I? My time is very, very, very valuable to me. And I want to talk about what I want to talk about. I want to be around people. I don't necessarily think somebody can offer me something beyond my own achievement, something that's truly of value to me. So if I'm using you for it, it is a disservice to me because
mm,
why would I, if I
mm.
don't value you as a person, me spending time with you is really cheating myself. I find that
Well,
so.
what if you do value me though? What if you
But
do value me as a
then I'm not
could
using
you
you.
yeah.
Then I'm not using
Yeah.
you. Like I
Okay.
enjoy every, if I value you, then I enjoy every single second that I spend with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's important to me that I spend my time that way, where I
Mm,
enjoy the person that I am around.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So for that reason, I guess the point I'm trying to make when I don't speak to somebody for a long time and I speak to them again, it's never ever for the reason because there's nobody around. It's never ever for that reason because there's nobody around. And so when I'm away, it's never ever for the reason because somebody else is more important to them.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just it could be this is where my attention is at the time. I'm just doing this right now. Really got nothing to do with the other person value to me.
Mm.
Nothing to do with it. Yeah. What about you?
What about me, what?
What about you? I mean, who do you enjoy? I mean, who do you value? How do you value people?
How do I value people? Um, I don't know. I feel like I think it's mostly like this sounds super like happy clappy positive, but like I feel like
You are happy, happy, positive.
I am happy clappy positive. I know. Most of the time, sometimes. And at times I'm not. I'm just like
Yeah.
I'm just not at times. But um I feel like it's almost like the more present I am, the more I can value people. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
almost like it's about my headspace. It's like when I don't know. Does that make sense?
And what are your fears around people and friends and friendship?
Fears.
Yeah.
Mm, I would say like investing or like like really um I guess probably valuing people more than they value me maybe would be a fear.
Do you think what you get shortchanged or something? Would you like why is there a fear around that?
I don't know. Um yeah. Yeah,
Valuing people more than they value you. So do you
well
think
value yeah.
do you think when you do that, because I know a lot of people, especially in school, that happens a lot. So do you think when you
Yeah.
value people more than when you fear valuing people more than they value you, so do you find yourself busy keeping tabs
Not
on what
busy.
you do? Yeah. Yeah, what does
No,
that look
I
like?
don't.
What does that look like? What does the concern look like?
Hold on one second. I'm just on a live. Yeah. So I think for me it would look like probably probably like the typical like being the first one to reach out in like most kind of being
Ah,
the only one reaching out.
yeah,
Does that make
yeah.
sense?
Yeah, I
Or
get that. But why do you reach out? Why would you reach out to somebody?
because I value them. I value their presence and they're I think they're just amazing people. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Okay. So
Yeah.
if you're always the one reaching out,
Mm,
that would communicate something to be honest, that would communicate something to everybody,
mm.
I think. Because I was thinking, would I have a problem with I'm the only one always reaching out? And do I have a problem with valuing me valuing somebody more than they value me? I guess if they are showing a major disinterest in me, it would automatically make me not value them less, but maybe value the friendship less.
Mm, mm,
And do you think can you see the difference between the person and the friendship?
yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And it's interesting, I think, that you say that because I feel like it's almost like um, oftentimes we can end up in this cycle where the more scarce something is, the more we value it. And so what you're saying is, hey, like this isn't being reciprocated. So here's my like my self-worth is up here. So like if we want to keep this going, like this like relationship that I want, this kind of relationship um that's connected, that's invested, that's where it's got to be. And so it's kind of like, oh, okay, so that's not what I'm getting. So maybe then the value of the relationship decreases. Is
Yeah,
that what you're saying?
yeah, yeah, Joria goes good point. The value of the relationship decreased, but the value of the individual remains.
It's,
Because
right, yeah. Okay.
yeah, yeah, but I
I
know
like
that
that.
yeah, 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 because just because we can't have a relationship, it doesn't mean that the individual is less has
Yeah.
less value or is less valuable. to me
Yeah.
or to anybody else for that matter. It just means that we probably don't have a great relationship. We can't get on. Maybe.
Yeah.
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 So,
So where, I guess, would you feel like you would go somewhere else to like, would you go back then, into your own during the time, like instead of like what does it look like for your value of a relationship to go down? Like what does that look like?
everything is a feeling to me, man. Everything
Mm,
is a feeling. I don't think two of the same action means the same thing to one of the same two of the same action means the same thing to me. It's the feeling that I get around
mm,
that person or that relationship or that situation. It really is just a feeling for me. And some things aren't don't have words. They can't be translated verbally, I think, in my personal experience. So
mm,
yeah, so it's a feeling. If you, it's all about how it feels to me. That's very, very important because I've ignored my intuition for so long. For so long,
yeah,
or I pick and choose when to listen to it, and
yeah,
and only to be found out later. I mean, no major damage is ever done, but I always look back and think, oh, I knew that. I knew that. I knew that. And there's no blame. There's no blame in anybody.
yeah.
There is no blame, really, because I just thought, oh, I knew that this is the way it's going. Let me just go with the current. I'm a bit like,
Yeah.
I'm a bit like oh about it, but it's like let me just go with the current. This is
Mm,
it. This is just the change. This is just the change that is happening. So let me just go with it.
mm,
Yeah, and
mm,
and and life is destined to change every second, you know. So let me just go. We're not the same people. I'm not the same person I was yesterday. So yeah, so let me just go with the change.
I love
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
I love that it's so clear. It's so clear to you because it's almost like you've listened, I know you said that for so long you ignored your intuition, but it's almost
yeah.
like now it's been so long that you haven't ignored your intuition and like
It's
it's
been
like you are
a
so
while
in
that I've been,
tune.
yeah. I mean, it does take me still a while to take action, but when things shift, I know exactly. I know I know it was coming. Do you
Mm,
know? Do you understand what I'm saying? Like I may not take the leap to change, and maybe I don't need to. Maybe I don't. Just because I sense something, I don't necessarily. Maybe it's going to change on its own. But when it happens, I
yeah.
can't say I'm surprised. I can't say
Yeah.
that. If I was to say I'm surprised at the changes that I've witnessed in the last 2 years, I would be lying
Mm,
to myself, and that's the
mm,
biggest dishonor that I can do for myself. I'll be lying to myself. I know for a fact that I've sensed things changing, or I've sensed things going differently, and I decided to buzz it off and um and roll with it. And then the changes happen, and for a while I'll cradle myself in bed and
mm.
thinking, "Oh my God, why is this happening?" But then there's a part of me that's saying, "Girl, you already knew. You already knew
Yeah.
this was coming. You knew this was coming. Come on."
Yeah.
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 And then I have to say, okay, I knew this was coming, but I'm sorry that this happened to you.
Mm.
Yeah.
So what does it look like to move on from that point then?
Oh, I don't know if it's moving on is as instant as that. I think
Mm,
there's a lot like
mm,
speaking to my counselor. Um,
mhm,
we at the moment we're going through a lot of acknowledging your pain, and
Mm.
and having some compassion about it, even though there's a part of you that's thinking, girl, come on, you need to move on, get on with it, or it's not that bad, or you're having some type of affirmation on one side where your stronger side is saying we're ready to get on, but there's also a weaker side that's just like, oh, I just want to lick my wound here for another day, please. And we're just talking about really about how we should have compassion for that side. It doesn't matter if the side is docile or sensitive and
Mm.
fragile or whatever. Like, at least there's
Mhm.
a side in me, a side of me that's stronger, but is to help the other, have compassion that this side needs a bit of cuddle, hot water bottle, or something, or a day in bed, or just compassion, just an understanding. I know, they're there, you know.
Ah,
Yeah, and
ah,
and that's how you know that's how you learn to soothe yourself. That's how you become self-sufficient. Really, you learn to to notice every part of you, and you learn to self-soothe.
yeah,
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 rather
absolutely.
than and to that, if I may add, because I don't drink. I don't all of my, I guess, my self-soothing
Mhm.
stuff that I used
Mm.
to drink, cigarettes. I don't have them anymore. So I have to find a healthy method of
Mm.
taking care of me, of dealing with the pain. The
Mm.
inevitable, may I add, the inevitable pain that we all have to endure, we all have to go through.
Mm.
Yeah. And
Mm.
it's going to happen. And there's more of that to come.
Mm.
Unfortunately, there's more of that to come. But as I have um, as I have discussed with my therapist, it's not really about um, not suffering anymore, or going through painful events anymore, or things not hurting anymore. It's just about really building the window of tolerance. Like,
Mm.
you just have
Mm.
a
Yeah.
bigger your window of tolerance is bigger, so you're able to face the feelings more. Like, the fact that I can sit and say it hurts here, it hurts there, it hurts there, and it hurts like this for a minute. I just might need to be in bed for a little bit longer just to soothe myself. Yeah,
Yeah.
that that
Yeah.
that's not even a weakness. In fact, that's building my window up. I'm less likely to self-destruct when I have that self-compassion.
See, okay. I want building off of that.
Yeah.
It's almost like you've got this like immeasurable amount of self-compassion, which I absolutely adore. And I just want to know where you see discomfort in like where you sit with discomfort. I think like in terms of putting yourself in an uncomfortable, if you're in an in a situation where you're feeling discomfort, do you go, oh hey, discomfort is a good thing because it makes me grow, or do you go, hey, no, I don't feel comfortable, I'm going to leave? How do you balance the two, or like what's it like for you?
Oh, well, it depends. Again, it depends on your window of tolerance. I think the whole compassionate, self-compassion includes understanding where you're at. I can understand that with this type of discomfort, I can withstand it. I can withstand
Yeah.
it. I'm not going to torture myself being
Yeah.
in a space where the discomfort is too much for me to bear. That doesn't make
Mm,
me grow. That's torturing yourself. Like, so
okay.
you're able to, and again, that's you being able to, I guess, measure and make and judge that based on you. And this is why I think like getting to know yourself is just the only thing you the only job you the only important job that you have is knowing
Mm,
who you are, knowing how you are, knowing yourself. I think that's your only job.
mm,
Never mind trying to fix it for that person. Never mind talking about I just want to help people. Like the best way
mm,
to help people would be to know yourself first, because you can never even begin to know how to help another person
mm,
more than they can do it for themselves.
mm,
Not more than what they can do for themselves. You can never begin to know that.
mm,
So I think getting to know yourself, how you function, how you hurt, it's so it's just an integral part of living. You have to know how you hurt, and you have to know how much hurt you can handle at any given moment,
mm,
so then you can leave when it's too
mm,
hard to bear
mhm,
and
mm,
come back.
mhm.
Okay, maybe you might have to revisit it another time, but if it's too hard, then don't
Yeah.
stay in that space, because that's called re-traumatizing yourself.
Mhm, mhm, mhm. Yeah.
That's just re-traumatizing yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I
Yeah, I
think,
find that,
yeah, go on.
yeah. I just find that it's not that talked about. I feel like we're always told get uncomfortable, be in your like be outside your comfort zone because that's gonna make you grow.
There's
But
levels
then
to it, though. There's
yeah,
levels to it.
it's
There's,
very nuanced.
yeah, yes, exactly. There's levels to it. You can't just be, this is uncomfortable, I'm going to sit in this uncomfortability. That is torture. That is that is torture. You're torturing
Yeah.
yourself. Well, like, and I've got this thing about, I've had this for a very long time. I always knew when not to open certain messages if I knew that they were filled with like just some type of negative vibe. Like I just won't open it. I just
Hmm.
won't open it because I
Ever?
know that. No, like exactly. It's not ever. Like for example, I had an ex-boyfriend who kept writing letters of apologies to me. I didn't open those letters. He sent me a letter every week. I didn't open those letters until like 2 years later.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Although the letters were negative, they were apologizing, but the type of apology it wasn't full accountability. It was you forcing me to accept your apology when I'm not ready. Like,
Yeah,
no, I'm not doing that. I'm not opening your letter before
yeah.
I'm ready to forgive or
That's
even
cool.
to face it. I'm not ready to do that. I don't care how sorry you are. If you're sorry, then you would respect the fact that I'm not ready to hear it.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah,
That's good.
yeah, yeah. So it was 2 years later. Then I opened. I didn't even open all of them because I didn't care about all of the. I didn't care about the apology. I don't care. I don't care about any apology because I think if you apologize for one, you're apologizing for you. Apologize for you
Yeah.
that you were an
Yeah.
arsehole or whatever.
Yeah.
And but don't apologize to me and don't force it down me as well. Don't
Yeah.
don't force me to
Yeah.
acknowledge. Don't force me to acknowledge it anyway. Like yeah,
Mm,
yeah,
that's so interesting. I love how how boundaried you are in that because I feel like it's almost like um it's almost like we're so primed to responding immediately. Like an email
yeah,
came through, you respond, like, let me get this over with, like, let me get it out the way, let me respond. Do you know what I mean? And so I feel like
yeah,
it's almost like just like a, yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's reactive. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's reactive, and it's reactive without any consideration for another
Yeah.
part of you that's not ready to deal with that. Like that
Yeah.
other part of you hasn't given permission, and you want to be nice, you want to be respectful or polite. Like, it's polite
Yeah.
if somebody says sorry for you to hear them out. Oh, hell no. It's not. It's not when not
Right.
until I'm ready.
Well, okay, on that, I've got another question because like, if one part of you is very clear about um like wanting something, but another part of you doesn't. So they're almost in like part two parts of you, but just in opposing, like in opposition in
Yeah,
what they want to
yeah.
achieve or to do or whatever. How do you navigate that?
Well, I would say I would check out the part that is most afraid,
Yeah.
the part that is acting out of fear, right? And
Mm.
I would find that, for example, especially forgiveness is not supposed to be done out of fear. And a lot of the time we do it out of fear of losing someone, out of fear of missing
Mm.
out of fear of being mean or whatever, like, or being perceived in a
Mm.
certain way. I'll have to look out for
Yeah.
I don't want to ever act out of fear, or I try to reduce the amount of time I react out of fear. So I have
Mm.
to, whatever it is out of fear and not respecting the process, that
Mm.
part goes. That part would have to be outvoted.
Mm.
Outvoted,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But
Wow, that's
everybody will be
powerful.
looked at. But everybody will be looked at and considered. You know, yeah,
That's powerful. That's
yeah,
huge.
yeah.
Wow.
Right, but we've
Wow.
reached the half an hour.
We
So,
have.
do you have anything else that you would like to add about our conversation today, our random conversation today?
I'm really happy with how that went. I'm quite content with it, unless there's any questions or anything that you had.
No, no, no. I mean, I love that you started this whole live with you saying how much you've enjoyed spending time with yourself. Like, oh my God,
Mm.
I mean, I thought I was a weird one because I always loved my own time, and I saw it.
Yeah.
I saw a post today on LinkedIn. I think it's a psychologist that was saying um, that if you are blocking people out or shutting people out and wanting to spend more time with yourself, then that's a sign of trauma. That is just that is not always a
Mm.
sign. That can be a sign of
No.
trauma, but that's not
Yeah.
always a sign of trauma. Like,
Well, and everyone has trauma, and everyone, like,
mm,
everyone's got their own little, traumas that so I'm not surprised if, someone with absolutely no trauma might not need to, like, check twice with themselves, like, does that make sense?
yeah, 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 and yeah, everyone does have trauma. However, if I choose to spend time by myself, that's not me. That's not a reaction from my. That's not a symptom of my trauma necessarily. I guess
No,
the point I was trying to make. That's just, I want to
no.
be just by myself. And I think, going back to the first point I made, I think it's just so important that I know my individual thoughts separate from the herd.
Mm,
Right. I just want to be able to know what I'm thinking, what I'm
yeah,
feeling, separate from
absolutely.
any external influences. Of course,
Yeah,
there's going to be external influences
yeah,
here and there, but I just kind of want to just know how I'm feeling. I'm never going to know how I'm feeling truly if I'm too concerned with what
Yeah.
what he thinks and what she thinks. If I'm looking over there, and
Yeah.
it takes for that relationship, friendship relationship, whether it's your parents' platonic friendship or romantic relationship breaking down, for you then to go back in and start looking into yourself. I don't think it should be like that. Like, I think we should keep it
Mm.
a nice balance with what's happening inside. How am I responding to what's happening outside based on what's
Mm.
happening inside?
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And it's so easy to ignore. It's so easy not to question. It's so easy not to listen to that voice or what needs to be heard, or it's just so easy to override it because we always have like that. It's almost like we're taught that that's what you do.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's not normal. It's not what you do. It's not how we were made to like
Mm.
function
No,
and
because
to
it
like
doesn't. It
thrive,
doesn't
right?
work. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
We don't, and
Yeah.
you do the opposite of thriving is
Yeah.
when you solely rely on a herd morality, that whatever the group thinks is the right thing to
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
follow. Yeah, yeah,
Ah,
and then you leave yourself paralyzed, like God, I've given everything. I've given
yeah.
everything, and where is this return? And even when people say, like, when I used to be younger, I used to hear people say things like, "Oh, you love yourself too much," or whatever. Not to me directly, but to other people as well. Like, "Oh, you love yourself too much. You can't love yourself too much. You're supposed to live for your family." And I just used to think that's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. What do you mean you're supposed to put everybody else before you? That sounded so ridiculous to me. But then me voicing that made everybody else look at me like the worst person in the world, that I didn't do
Mm,
it. And then when I
mm,
did mold into that herd morality of putting everybody before me, whatever people were giving me was just not enough.
mm.
It was,
Absolutely.
it was just not enough. And then that's when now
Absolutely.
I'm like, sod it, fuck that. Like, I,
Yeah.
I have to look after me, and me looking after me doesn't mean that I step on everybody's toes to do that.
Mm,
It doesn't mean
mm,
I throw everybody under the bus to do that. It doesn't mean that at all.
mm, mm. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think it's just a process of learning to trust that voice again. Trust that if I do follow that voice inside of me, that's against what the crowd's saying, that's not in alignment with society's expectations of me, that I will be okay. And I feel like that's what's really been happening for me during lockdown. It's this
Yeah.
process of coming back, listening to that voice, learning to trust it,
Yeah.
acting on it, and then seeing what happens and just trusting that that's just going to be okay. Like that, I would rather do that and there be shitty consequences than for me,
And
like,
and we
not
haven't
to.
touched on this today, but
Yeah.
in doing that, I feel for me as a personal experience, you grow. That is how faith grows. Like, this
Yeah.
is this is when you move away from blind faith. Like, you move away from faith that's been taught to you
Yes,
solely.
because Steph, it's almost like it's faith in that the vessel that God's created
Yeah,
is actually right. Like
yeah,
what if this vessel knows what it's saying? It knows what it's talking about. What if my feelings are actually valid? What if they actually matter? Like I feel like
yeah,
that is absolutely
yeah,
faith.
yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
yeah. Absolutely, absolutely. And plus, look, and this, like the point I made earlier, I have to check which side of me, which voice is speaking out of fear, because
Mm,
there is no faith in action, any action that's done out of fear. There isn't. There isn't any faith in that. So for me to even second guess my own feeling, how I am feeling, um, it's nihilism. It's being unfaithful to me. And if I'm unfaithful to
Mhm.
me, and I'm encouraging that, I'm also encouraging everybody else to be unfaithful to them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I hear that.
yeah,
I hear that because it's almost like saying, "Hey God, I just don't trust that this is real or right or valid." Like it's like something's wrong with it. Like what it's saying is wrong. I can't, yeah, like it's almost like,
yeah,
yeah, I feel like we end up taking on other people's, opinions and stuff as what we should have faith in rather than what our internal spirit is saying to us as,
yeah.
like whether that's Holy Spirit or whatever other people see as
And
you
you're
know
told and you're told not to trust yourself, which
yeah,
I just think that is just the biggest betrayal. Like the biggest betrayal,
yeah,
not
yeah,
even to you yourself, the biggest betrayal. If you do believe in God, I would say, I'd go as far as to say, if you don't trust yourself, it is the biggest betrayal to God. Because
yeah.
what else lives outside of you? Like
What else is what?
lives outside of you.
Mm,
Like nothing else
mm,
exists outside of you. Nothing else exists in your human experience, in your personal experience. Nothing else exists when you shut your eyes.
mm,
You
mm,
don't know
mm,
anything to exist beyond when you open your eyes
mm,
in the morning or when
mm.
you go outside your door. You don't know that what is happening is happening. So
Mm,
for you not to trust, if you weren't there, to you it didn't happen. Do you know? And
mm,
so therefore to
mm,
you, you don't have, you're not impacted by it. If you're not there, then it doesn't impact you. If you don't see it, it doesn't traumatize you if you don't see it. Do you know?
mhm.
So
Yeah.
therefore, nothing really lives outside of you. So for you to not trust yourself, and everything that we experience, everything in life tells us not to trust ourselves. Everything. I was in London a couple of years ago, and I saw an insurance advert on a train saying
Mm,
about insurance, about insuring your phone, and the insurance was
mm.
like, don't trust yourself. And I thought, fuck
I
off.
heard that ad. I've seen that ad somewhere, and I'm like, hell no.
I thought,
What are you
come on,
talking about?
what kind of
It,
message is that? That don't trust yourself with your own phone, and that's it. We don't trust ourselves with anything. So we've got all these things trying to ensure us that
mm,
if we don't, we shouldn't trust ourselves, and the less trust we
mm.
have on ourselves, we put it on these companies, and they would
Yeah.
assure us that when we fuck up, that they can
Mm,
protect us from it. But you need to read the fucking fine print, because when you do go and make a claim, if you haven't read those fine print properly, you're not
yeah,
protected. It doesn't matter how much you
absolutely.
pay.
Yeah.
Yeah. If
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
your
Yeah.
story doesn't align to their policy, you aren't protected.
I love it. You know what? This is a good conversation.
It
I
is.
like it. We'll do it
But
again.
we've got to wrap up. Zach,
Yeah.
what did Zach say? When you start seeing the manifestation appearing subsequently after your
Mm,
enlightenment, you absolutely get blindness. Yeah, you absolutely get rid of blindness. Yeah. Yeah, all right, Danny, that was amazing. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for filling in with my other live with Inange, which might happen sometime
oh.
this week.
Oh, okay. I love
Yeah,
Inonge. I'm looking forward to hearing you guys. That'd be
yeah.
fun.
But
Yeah, yeah.
anyway, we need to organize a walk, uh, and I want to go and see that sunset again. Thank you, Joya. Joya, did you have any question? Did you want to ask a question? I saw you message me about a question. Joya? No, no question. Joy might have to come on a live as well with me because she is
Ooh.
funny as hell. She might have to come
I
on
love
a
that.
live. Uh-huh. And she goes,
Go
God,
on, you
you want
want
it. All right then, Dani, I'll see you later. Thank you so much again for coming on the live.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for this like great, fun idea. I love it. It was so spontaneous, but I love it. I was listening to all of that on my walk. The blind
Yeah,
faith thing is a guarantee. Yep.
allow me just so that
Love it.
yeah,
Love it.
thanks, Zach. Okay,
All
okay,
right.
then. See you later.
See you, Queen.
Bye.
Bye-bye.